The Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, in a kingdom filled with golden meadows and singing rivers, lived a king and queen who wished for a child more than anything in the world. Their wish finally came true when a beautiful baby daughter was born, whom they named Aurora, for she filled their lives with the light of the morning sun. To celebrate her birth, the king invited everyone to a grand feast, including the 7 good fairies of the realm. The palace was decorated with shimmering silk ribbons and bowls of fresh rose petals that smelled sweeter than honey. Each fairy stepped forward to give the princess a magical gift, like a song for her heart or a dance for her feet. Just as the youngest fairy was about to speak, the room turned cold and a gust of wind blew the great doors open. An uninvited guest, a lonely and forgotten fairy named Maleficent, appeared in a cloud of green mist and shadow. Feeling left out, she cast a dark spell, declaring that on her 16th birthday, Aurora would prick her finger on a spinning wheel and fall into a deep sleep. The king and queen gasped in fear, but the youngest fairy, who had not yet given her gift, stepped forward with a gentle smile. She could not break the spell, but she could soften it, promising that Aurora would not die, but only sleep until awakened by true love's kiss. To protect his daughter, the king ordered every spinning wheel in the land to be gathered and burned in a giant bonfire. Years passed, and Aurora grew into a kind and joyful young woman who loved talking to the birds and deer in the castle gardens. She was gentle to everyone she met, and her laughter sounded like tiny silver bells ringing in the breeze. On the morning of her 16th birthday, the castle was buzzing with excitement for a surprise party being prepared in the grand hall. Aurora, feeling curious, decided to explore a dusty stone staircase in a quiet corner of the castle she had never noticed before. At the very top of the stairs, she found a small wooden door that creaked softly as she pushed it open. Inside a sunlit attic room sat an old woman spinning golden thread on a wheel that hummed a strange, rhythmic tune. Aurora had never seen a spinning wheel before and reached out her hand, fascinated by the way the thread shimmered like sunlight. As her finger touched the sharp spindle, a tiny prick appeared and a wave of tiredness washed over her like a heavy velvet blanket. She lay down on a nearby bed and closed her eyes, falling into a deep, peaceful slumber that felt like a dreamless night. The spell's power spread through the castle, touching the cooks in the kitchen, the guards at the gate, and even the king and queen. Everything went still. The fires in the hearth stopped flickering, and the horses in the stables lowered their heads to sleep. Around the castle, a thick forest of magical thorns began to grow, twisting and climbing until the walls were hidden from the world. For many years, the kingdom slept in silence, waiting for someone brave enough to find the hidden princess. One day, a kind prince from a neighboring land heard the legend of the Sleeping Beauty and felt a pull in his heart to help. He rode his brave white horse to the edge of the dark woods, where the thorns stood like a giant tangled wall. With a silver sword and a heart full of courage, he carefully cleared a path through the briars which seemed to part for him. He entered the silent castle, passing the sleeping guards and walking through halls where time had stood still for 100 years. He climbed the dusty stone staircase and opened the small wooden door, finding the princess exactly as she had been on that fateful day. She looked so peaceful and radiant that the prince knelt by her side, whispering a promise to always protect the kingdom's light. He leaned down and gave her a gentle kiss, a gesture of pure kindness and true friendship that broke the ancient shadow. Aurora's eyes fluttered open, and she smiled at the prince, her heart recognizing the goodness in his gentle face. At that moment, the entire castle woke up. The king and queen yawned and hugged each other, and the kitchen fires crackled back to life. The thorns outside withered away, replaced by blooming jasmine and lilies that filled the air with a wonderful fragrance. A great celebration was held, and Aurora and the prince promised to look after the kingdom together, ensuring it remained a place of kindness. They lived happily ever after, teaching everyone that even the longest night ends when the morning sun of love begins to shine.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.